What is going on, everybody? Dave K here today in Frisco, Texas, in Duncan Park, taking a little walk. I just had lunch, which you will see afterwards. So for those of you who are asking for more food in DFW or more things to do and just general show us more of Dallas, boom, you're going to get some food in a bit. But today I'm thinking we'll talk about Q&A. There's a few questions that I've been seeing, messages and otherwise, and chats or whatever it is, the text, as I'm looking. And I want to talk about some of that and just general thoughts and approach. And one of those questions, I guess, ties into that is where are the videos going? Are you making more videos? What are you going to do with that? As well as some other questions. So let me jump right into it. One of the favorite questions that always seems to be recurring, Dave, are you dating anybody? No, there is no girlfriend to report at the present time. Just living life. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. But right now, no. Another question that came up, you were asking about work. You were like, oh, that was fast from when you said that you weren't working to when you said you were working. So that long pause where I wasn't making videos was a long pause of trying to figure life out, and also looking for work was a big piece of it. So what I tried to touch on there, hopefully you picked that up, but I'll reiterate, that kind of gap was the no work period. Me starting back up was, okay, good, I've got something, at least something for now, who knows how long of a term thing that is, but it's a something, so that I can get back to that place of mental peace and otherwise to making videos, sharing stuff with you. And that does tie into the what am I doing with the channel, right? Are we going to make more videos? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen from a video perspective. I do love to entertain and to share adventures with you. I don't have a lot of exciting, innovative stuff to share lately. I'm figuring out what's the balance of that. Another thing I think that ties in well to another question that was asked a good bit is the mindsets, right? Is what are my values? What are my priorities? What am I looking for? So whether people choose to take breaks, not share videos for a while, or or if they stop completely, I think it's about figuring out what my goals are, at least in my case, figuring out my priorities, figuring out my goals, and trying to align that with what I do, and figuring out how I manage communicating that too, right? So if I feel like I would try to give you a heads up and be like, oh, hey, by the way, I see myself taking a break, which maybe I've done before, but I don't necessarily see myself making more videos, which I never know, at least for now, it's unknown, but it's something that I think is nice if I can try to communicate. But who knows? Sometimes maybe different people can be in a different place for that. Maybe they don't necessarily want to be a part of different adventures, for example, that I share, or otherwise for a variety of different reasons. So that is the thought in terms of where the channel's going, as well as how's everybody doing? Everybody's doing all right. Some people want to be in stuff at different times, and some people don't. And I think it's important to allow people to do what's right for them and honor that. So that is what I do, is let people make their choices. And here's another big question. Dave, Dallas, are you happy in Dallas? Dallas versus Florida, how do they compare? You see yourself staying in Dallas? And the answer to that question, there's a lot of I don't knows lately. It depends. So I would say there's a lot I like about Dallas and DFW, right? There's so much to do, so much to see, so much areas, and so much to explore. Lots of great food. I feel like lots of opportunities in terms of young people to meet and explore that. To that other question from earlier, doesn't mean it'll happen. It's just open to, but it does not necessarily offer the beaches, for example, like Florida might. I do happen to like warmer weather in general. So when it gets cold here, or when we get tornado warnings and stuff like that, and I'm like, Florida sounds good. So it's a nice place to run away to. But overall, there's a lot I like in the Dallas area. So at least short-term vision-wise, I see myself sticking around for now, and we have to figure out exactly what that looks like. And so I guess one of the big general takeaways is I'm doing a lot of figuring things out from the perspective of, what do I want to do for fun? What do I want to do from a video perspective? And kind of getting all those things resettled. I don't know if I'd call it a midlife crisis sort of thing. More just a realignment. Quarter life realignment. How's that? So we'll go with that. But that is that one. And I think I've answered a good few of my questions. Let me take a look here. I think someone had asked, would I do more Disney cruises? Disney still sits lower on my cruise list. And one of the big reasons for that was I got sick on the majority of the Disney ships that I was on. And I believe a big piece of that is due to the motors and the way that the ship kind of rocks. It doesn't have the same stabilizers. What are they called? Azupods or something like that. So I discovered as I went on other cruise lines like MSC in Holland that I didn't feel like as bumpy in my stomach and things like that. Kind of have a sensitive stomach from time to time. So that's a huge perk for me of those other lines. Also, pricing is a big piece, right? So you have to consider what is the, value of this vacation from a cost to benefit perspective. Personally, I've had good experiences with MSC. From a price perspective, I feel like they're usually on the more competitive side. I know others who have been on MSC and hasn't been their favorite thing. So, I'm going to continue to try more. I'm going to certainly continue to consider value. And I'm not saying there's any cruise line I wouldn't try again. But I'm generally leaning towards those that I've had more positive experiences with and that I see a better sort of price to value perspective on. Because Disney is way up there from a price lens. And Disney World and parks in general are a question as well. So let me address that. I no longer have an annual pass. And I don't necessarily see myself getting a new Disney World annual pass anytime soon. I enjoy and I envision myself doing more of the cruise-type vacations and fun adventures when I'm doing that. That being said, if I'm going to go to a park, I will say Epic Universal is on my mind. So when I get back into parks, part of me wants to get a Universal pass the next time I do an annual park pass. But for now, I don't have any of those, and I think I'd have to kind of get clearer in terms of, I live in Texas, so I'd have to get clearer in terms of how often am I going to go out there? What kind of use am I going to make out of that before I do it? But the fact that Epic Universe is open right now and that those with annual passes can get in, as far as I know, if I saw that correctly, was really cool. And I'm like, oh man, I'm jealous of that. So it's got me thinking about it. So no Disney parks immediately on the short term. I do think there's a lot to enjoy about Disney World. Again, a lot of those restaurants are great. The experience is really nice and peaceful, and there's so much to see. I think Universal's kind of smaller in that sense. There's not as much that you can kind of explore, but there's still a good bit. And park-wise, I certainly see more competitiveness. So Universal's on my mind in that sense as well. Okay, I think we have settled the questions. If there are more things that come to mind, feel free to let me know. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. Now, go see me eat some food and show some other food with you and see what you think. Alrighty, y'all, for everybody who wanted to see some more Dallas spots. Food being one of my favorite things in the DFW area. We got some real good food. Here's chai tea, hot chicken, and burgers. And they have like boba as well, so I'm going to check that out, see how it looks. And here we are at the register. You can see delicious looking options. Let's see what sounds good. This is the Tiger Sugar Thai tea boba here. They recommended it blended. Apparently that's their specialty here. Did not get any extra boba in it, but it's a large, and I have it with half sugar. Looks really good, like the curb appeal. We'll see how it is. Alrighty, here is the Big Bird mild from, what is it again? Chai tea. Sounds great. Again, there's my drink. The drink is nice. It's not too sweet. It's got a nice, it's kind of dark, almost like a, musty flavor. Not quite like a too strong of a Thai tea flavor, but kind of mixed with that, I guess, that brown sugar. So, very nice so far. Happy with it. We'll try the food. I only just noticed that the wrapper is replicating a newspaper there. So very, very cool. Overall, not a bad chicken sandwich, I would say. Nice flavor. Not my all-time favorite. Give it maybe like a, I don't know, I want to say maybe a 6 or 7. So it's good. Probably won't necessarily come back for it. That is pretty solid in terms of boba. But there are a lot of good boba spots too. So good one. Glad I tried it. But there's plenty more to try as well. And Dallas has so much. Now, since we're right here, we may as well discuss, of course, this is a nice outdoor shopping mall with a great many things, but grocery stores right there. Tom Thumb. I have not made my way into a Tom Thumb, I don't know if at all since I've been in town. Maybe I have a couple of times. But my go-to, one of my favorites, is H-E-B. Kroger is like everywhere and fairly accessible too, so I go there decently often. There's places like Walmart. But I've been having a hard time finding egg whites. You may relate in the current chicken climate. So we gonna just take a peek in Tom Thumb. I just figured I'd share with you yet another, in a way it's food, but more groceries. So less exciting. Might not show anything inside, but the many brands in Dallas, Tom Thumb, I think, is a relatively large one. Part of me's like, you know what, I may as well share at least a bit with you. You know, it feels very Texas grocery store. And I'd be curious to hear and see how this compares for you to many of your grocery stores. Because I know we have so much here in Texas with the delis and the ready-made meals and stuff like that. They're just large establishments, which is one of the blessings of having all this land here in Texas. Super funny, I am indeed finding the big bottle of egg whites, which I like, but it's like almost $7. And the other ones are like $7 and $8. So, wow, I guess, yeah, the prices are just up across the board. Very interesting. By the way, while we're on the subject of grocery stores, take a look at Sprouts here. Like a natural, like a Whole Foods sort of deal. It's a lot of natural foods. It's a nice spot. I've only been a couple of times, but it's cool. And, of course, thank you for being a part of the fun with me. Never know what's to come, what the future may hold. But try to share whatever comes to mind when I feel good about sharing something. I'm like, hey, I want to entertain. Hey, I want to share this life update with you. Try to do that. But who knows? Who knows what will come next? Will I be on a break until I go on another cruise? Cruise would be cool, but it might be a while before I do one. I'm thinking about maybe sharing more of these restaurants. You saw a little bit of Velvet Taco the other day. You're going to see one a little bit later today. No spoilers there. And that kind of thing. Just like, oh, hey, here's some local spots that I went to. Maybe like all the spots that I go to in a week or two becomes like one video of like Dallas restaurants. So that's a thought. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on that. Thanks for the suggestion about local Dallas stuff. Because you're right, it can be fun to share that local stuff, even though it's not like a big trip, right? So get back in the habit of like, what does the day-to-day look like? And you know I like going out for good food, so I got to watch out for that. But yeah, that's an idea. Thanks so much for helping me make it an amazing day. Don't forget to make your day an incredible day as well. Focus on the positive vibes. Look for the silver lining in everything you do. And yeah, it's a split. It's a challenging world out there. A lot of separation between people and divisiveness. And if we can accept and unite, I think it'll help make our country and the world a better place. Until next time, play on.